Brady Barrows with the RRDI Season 1, Episode 3 of the Rosacea Research and Development Institute videos. And I've been volunteering on this for a long time, and I thought I'd talk to you today on the theme of rosacea patient advocacy. So I have been volunteering since 2003. I formed the RRDI in the state of Hawaii then, and then applied for IRS recognition. It took a couple of years, and contrary to popular opinion, it is not easy to do this. But here's the letter of recognition with the official stamp and date that we are recognized as a 501c3. And we are recognized now in 2 states, Hawaii and Alabama. Now on the mission statement, which we set up back in 2004 there, it's easily available on our website. Here's a picture of it. But I want to focus on the first goal. Goal number 1, to be the first nonprofit organization for rosacea patient advocacy and to find the cure for rosacea. It's pretty obvious, the last part, what the cure for rosacea. We're searching for it. That's easy to understand. We're the first and only nonprofit rosacea patient advocacy organization. Now, how can we say that? Well, at the time, there was only one other nonprofit organization for rosacea, the National Rosacea Society. And that organization doesn't even mention the phrase rosacea patient advocacy anywhere on its website. So, if it's obvious, if you take the time to investigate what is the agenda and goals and the mission of the National Rosacea Society, well, all you got to do is look at who serves on the board of directors. And it's not made up of one rosacea sufferer. No, it's comprised of dermatologists and businessmen. And all you got to do is see, now where does the money go with this nonprofit organization? Most of the donations that are received by the NRS, the National Rosacea Society, comes from the skin industry. And that's comprised mostly of pharmaceutical companies and other companies, corporations that make rosacea treatments. That's where most of their funding comes from. And what do they spend most of their money on? 60% is spent on private contractors that's owned by one of the board members. And 10% is spent on rosacea research. And because of what the NRS was doing at the time, that was one of the reasons why we formed the RRDI. Because goal number 3, let me read it to you, to make the first rosacea-specific nonprofit organization to utilize most of the donations for research and treatment development. This is in stark contrast to nonprofit organizations that spend 50 to 60% of their donations on paying their staff, board of directors, conventions for professional members, or to pay private contractors for services. And so that's why we formed the RRDI. Now let's get back to patient advocacy, because some may not really quite understand this, and I want to help you to understand it. There are lots of patient advocacy organizations, all kinds for different causes, different diseases. They're called PAOs, Patient Advocacy Organizations. Just Google it, and you'll learn a whole bunch. But let's focus on one article published by JAMA Dermatology, and that's a very prestigious journal. It's published by the American Medical Association, and it's the Journal of the American Medical Association Dermatology. And this is the article that I want to focus on. And if you read the title of this article, do you see it? The title is Prevalence and disclosure of potential conflicts of interest in dermatology, patient advocacy organizations. That's what this article is all about. So I'd like to focus on some of the key points. So let's focus on the key points of this article. And what are the key points? Well, question: what is the current state of industry-related conflicts of interest and disclosure practices among patient advocacy organizations with dermatology? Findings: in this study of 24 dermatology patient advocacy organizations with annual revenues that exceeded $500,000, though 71% of organizations in dermatology acknowledged receiving donations from industry sources, none reported the exact amount. A total of 13% of organizations reported a current or former industry executive on their governing board in annual reports or on public websites, whereas online searches identified a minimum of 54% with industry ties. Meaning, the findings suggest that among patient advocacy organizations in dermatology, there are inconsistent disclosures, practices regarding industry-derived financial support and board membership that may represent or give impressions of conflicts of interest. So that may be a lot of mumbo-jumbo to some, but basically what they're saying is that they investigated a huge number of dermatological patient advocacy organizations, and the National Rosacea Society is listed. They investigated them, and they're on the bottom of the list if you want to see this list. And the skin industry is supporting and donating to these patient advocacy groups. And a lot of these ones are not really disclosing it. That's basically it. And so what's their conclusion in this article? Let's read the conclusion. The findings suggest that there is a lack of transparency and disclosure practices among PAOs in dermatology. Without clear and complete reporting, we're unable to determine the potential COIs that may exist with regard to industry-derived financial support and board membership. Policies that support the transparency and uniformity of industry-related disclosure practices appear to be needed to fully access the extent of COIs among patient PAOs and maintain public confidence in these institutions. That's their conclusion. I've been saying this since we started, but they have a real prestigious article on this subject. So, is there anything you can do about this? Can rosaceans do anything about it? Well, I've found that the current state of affairs with rosaceans is that they are not interested at all in uniting in any rosacea patient advocacy nonprofit organization. Right now, the current state of affairs is rosaceans love to be on social media groups, and that's where they are. And I've substantiated this with another video. Now, I've made over 100 videos to try to stir up interest in rosacea patient advocacy and keeping the RRDI going as the only rosacea patient advocacy nonprofit organization. But we need some younger blood to step up and volunteer and become active. And it's not difficult to understand what's going to happen to the RRDI if younger blood doesn't step in and start volunteering and getting interest in rosacea patient advocacy. If you think you can do a better job than what the RRDI is doing, go for it. But think about it. This organization's all set up, registered in 2 states, recognized by the IRS, and you could just keep it going. And you could do a better job than me. And all you got to do to get the keys to the RRDI is you got to step up and volunteer. And before you get the keys, you really need to go over a few things like, what are you going to do with the keys to this RRDI? Can you discuss it and talk about it? What you need more information? I've made over 100 videos to try to stir up interest in this. You can look at videos. You can go to our website and learn all about rosacea and learn all about rosacea patient advocacy. So if you have any questions or you have any concerns, it would be really nice for you to discuss this. And it's a real easy, user-friendly website. You can post on our website, and it doesn't even require that you register an account. Go to our guest forum. It's free. You don't have to disclose who you are. And let's talk about this. So, Rosacea Patient Advocacy, Episode 3. That's it.